Let me guess how you picture retirement. There's a beach, maybe a sunset, definitely a cruise ship. You've got a golf club in one hand, a drink with a little umbrella in the other, and grandkids laughing around a Christmas tree in perfect matching sweaters. It's the highlight reel, the postcard, the version they put in the brochure for the retirement community with the suspiciously green lawns. The thing is, that stuff is real. Those moments do happen, but that's not retirement. That's maybe 5% of retirement. That's the trailer, not the movie. Because you want to know what retirement actually is? It's a regular Tuesday. It's a random, unremarkable Tuesday in the middle of February when there's no cruise, no grandkids, no umbrella drink. It's just you, your house, your coffee, and a whole lot of hours you get to fill however you want. And you're going to have about 10,000 of those Tuesdays. So here's the uncomfortable truth I've figured out watching people do this well and watching people do this badly. Whether you thrive in retirement has almost nothing to do with the big trips. It's decided on the ordinary Tuesday. It's decided by the small, quiet, daily stuff nobody posts about. The retirees who are genuinely, deeply thriving, the ones you make you go, man, I want what they have, they all run a certain set of daily routines, little ones, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. So today, I'm handing you 8 of them. These are some of the daily routines of a thriving retiree. My goal is to make sure your retirement is worth waking up for, not just funded, but actually good. Let's get into it. Routine number 1, they chase the daylight. And I know that sounds almost too simple to matter, but stick with me because this one punches way above its weight. Here's what happens to a lot of folks in retirement. Slowly, without ever deciding to, they become indoor creatures. The world shrinks down to the couch, the kitchen, the TV, and the roughly 11 feet of carpet between them. Days go by where the closest they get to nature is watching a documentary about it. And your body absolutely hates this. You are running on hardware that was built over hundreds of thousands of years to be outside in the light. Morning sunshine is what tells your brain what time it is. It sets your internal clock, which is the thing that decides whether you sleep like a baby or lie awake at 3 a.m. rearranging your entire life in your head. Get the light early and everything downstream gets easier. Your mood lifts, your energy shows up, your sleep that night gets better before you've even gotten tired. And you don't have to go conquer a mountain. I'm not sending you on an expedition. I'm talking 10 minutes on the porch with your coffee, a slow loop around the block, sitting in the backyard doing absolutely nothing but existing in the sun like a very content, very wise lizard. Chase the daylight. It's free, it's everywhere, and your whole system is quietly begging for it. Routine number 2. They treat sleep like it's sacred. Now there's this weird backwards belief floating around that sleep is for lazy people, that real go-getters power through on 5 hours, that needing a full night's rest is somehow a character flaw. Here's what most people don't realize. Sleep is when your body does maintenance. It's the overnight repair crew. While you're out, your brain is literally power washing itself, clearing out the gunk that builds up during the day. And skimping on that, night after night, year after year, is genuinely one of the worst things you can do to an aging brain and body. But here's the trap specific to retirement. When you were working, your sleep had guardrails. You had to be up at a certain time, so you had to be down at a certain time. Retirement rips those guardrails out. And suddenly it's, I'll stay up till 2, I can nap tomorrow. And 3 weeks later, your sleep schedule looks like a toddler's finger painting. No pattern, no rhythm, just chaos. The thriving retirees keep the rhythm. Roughly the same bedtime, roughly the same wake up, a dark, cool, quiet room. And critically, they get the screen out of the bedroom because scrolling in bed at midnight is like drinking espresso and wondering why you can't sleep. Guard your sleep. Every other routine on this list works better when you're rested. It's the foundation the whole house sits on. Routine number 3. They go on an information diet. Let me describe a very common retirement day, and tell me if it sounds familiar. You wake up. You turn on the news. It's outrage. You check your phone. It's more outrage. Plus, somebody you went to high school with is very mad about something. You've got the news channel running in the background all afternoon, feeding you a steady drip of everything is a disaster and it's all getting worse. And then you wonder why by dinner time you feel anxious, angry, and vaguely doomed even though nothing bad actually happened to you personally all day. That's not you getting older, that's you getting marinated. Here's the deal. When you were working, you didn't have time to soak in this stuff all day. Now you've got the time, and there is an entire industry, a very profitable one, built specifically to grab your attention and keep it by keeping you scared and angry. They are extremely good at their job.
They are not on your side. And I'm not telling you to stick your head in the sand and ignore the world. Stay informed. That's part of being a grown-up. But thriving retirees are ruthless about the dose. They check the news once, on purpose, and then they shut it off. They don't leave the outrage machine running all day like background music for their brain. Because here's the punchline. You spent 40 years earning this peace. Do not hand it back for free to a screen that's monetizing your blood pressure. Control the information, or the information controls you. Routine number 4. They tend to something living. And this one sneaks up on people because it doesn't sound like a happiness strategy. But there is something deep in the human wiring that needs to be needed. For most of your life, that need got filled automatically. You have a job that depended on you, maybe kids who needed raising, a whole ecosystem of people and responsibilities pulling on your sleeve. Then retirement arrives, and a lot of that just stops needing you. And that can leave a quiet, hard-to-name hole where being counted on used to live. So the thriving retirees fill it, on purpose, with something that has to be tended. Tomato plants that'll die if you forget them. A dog that will absolutely stage a one-animal protest if you skip the walk. A little herb garden on the windowsill. A cat who tolerates you, barely, on a good day. Something with a heartbeat, or at least a root system that responds to your care. Because here's what that does. It gives every day a small, non-negotiable. The plants don't care that you don't feel like it. The dog doesn't accept excuses. And that gentle little tug of something out there depends on me showing up. That turns out to be one of the most grounding forces in a human life. There's a reason nursing homes that give residents a plant or a pet to care for see people just light back up. Being needed is medicine. Go find something that needs you. Routine number 5. They eat like they respect the chef. Here's the trap, and most people walks right into it. When your day had a shape, your meals had a shape. Breakfast happened because you were headed somewhere. Lunch was at lunchtime because that's the rule at the office. Dinner was dinner. Retirement dissolves all of that, and what fills the gap for a shocking number of people is what I lovingly call the sink graze. That's when your breakfast is 4 crackers and the cold coffee from yesterday's pot. Lunch is a handful of whatever's in the pantry eaten standing up, and dinner is cereal, because honestly, why dirty a whole pan for one person? Been there, no judgment. But your body at this stage of life is keeping the receipts. Here's what changes. When you were 25, your body was a forgiving miracle. You could eat a gas station hot dog at midnight and bounce right back. That grace period is over. Now what you eat shows up that same afternoon in your energy, your mood, your joints, how well you sleep, all of it. Food stops being background noise and becomes the single biggest lever you pull on how you feel, twice a day, every day. And thriving retirees keep it dead simple. Real food, color on the plate, enough protein to keep the body strong. Actual water, not just coffee and hope. They're not on some grim, joyless diet. The dessert still shows up, and it should. You've earned the pie. But the pie is the treat. It's not the food group. Feed yourself like you're worth the effort, because you're stuck living in that body for a good long while. Routine number 6. They keep their nest in order. And I want to be clear, I am not talking about becoming some obsessive neat freak who alphabetizes the spice rack and vacuums in perfectly straight lines. If that's you, great, but that's not the point. The point is way more powerful than tidiness. Here's the thing they don't tell you. Your outside space and your inside headspace are basically roommates. When your outside environment is a chaotic mess, piles everywhere, clutter on every surface, that one chair that's now 90% laundry, your brain reads that as unfinished business, low-grade stress all day that you can't quite name. It's the mental equivalent of 40 tabs open in the background, quietly draining your battery. And retirement has a sneaky way of letting the mess creep in. When nobody's coming over and there's no rush, the little daily tidying slips, and one day you look up and the house feels like it's closing in on you. So the thriving retirees do a little bit daily. Make the bed, do the one sink of dishes, put the thing back where the thing goes. It's small, it takes 10 minutes, and it does something bigger than a clean counter. It gives you a constant quiet stream of I'm on top of my life. Order out there creates calm in here. Plus, and I'll be honest with you, a made bed at 8 a.m. makes you feel like you've got your act together even if the rest of the day goes completely sideways. Never underestimate that. Tend your nest. Routine number 7. They laugh on purpose. Somewhere along the line, our culture decided that getting older means getting serious, getting stern, furrowed brow, grumbling at the TV, slowly transforming into the human version of a keep off the grass sign. And sure, some days the world earns a good grumble, but every genuinely happy retiree I have ever met has this one trait that jumps out at you within about 30 seconds. They laugh a lot. They've kept their sense of humor sharp, and they point it at everything, the world, their aches, the news, and most of all, themselves. And this isn't just feel-good fluff. A real laugh, the kind where you can't catch your breath and your face hurts and you have to hold up a hand and gasp, "Stop, stop!" That actually dumps stress right out of your body and does real good for your heart. But forget the science. You already know a great laugh is one of the best things a human being gets to feel, and it costs exactly $0. So the thriving ones go get it. They watch stuff that's funny. They tell the same terrible jokes they've been telling since the Nixon administration, and they crack up at their own punchline before they even reach it. And the big one, they learn to laugh at aging instead of raging at it. Because you are going to walk into a room and completely forget why. That's just the arrangement now. You can be furious about it, or you can laugh and turn around and stroll back in when it comes to you. One of those adds years to your life. Laugh on purpose. It's the best medicine there is. Routine number 8. They close the day with gratitude. Here's how most people end their day. Screen until the eyes give out. Fall asleep with the TV droning, and the very last thoughts rattling around the skull are whatever the news scared them with, or whatever they're dreading tomorrow. That's the note the whole day ends on, static and worry. And then they wonder why they wake up feeling behind. The thriving retirees ended completely differently. They take 2 minutes, that's it, 2 minutes, and they look back over the day and they deliberately go hunting for what was good, what went right, what they're thankful for. I know, it sounds soft, but this is one of the most powerful 2-minute routines in existence, and here's the mechanics of why. Your brain came with a factory setting that clings to the bad stuff and lets the good stuff slide right off. That was fantastic for your caveman ancestors. Remember the danger, ignore the pretty sunset, don't get eaten. It is terrible for being a happy human in a world with basically no tigers. Ending the day on gratitude flips that setting. When you deliberately dig up the good parts of your day, night after night, you're training your brain to actually notice them. And here's the wild payoff. After a few weeks, you start catching the good stuff in real time while it's happening, because your brain knows it's going to get asked about it later. You can nail every other routine on this list, the sleep, the sunshine, the laughing, the pie, but if you go to bed every night convinced your life is disappointing, none of it lands. Gratitude is the thing that lets you actually feel the good life you built. Find 3 good things tonight. Even a rough day has 3, especially a rough day. The actual good life in retirement gets built on ordinary Tuesdays out of small, free routines that are available to you starting tomorrow morning. And listen, the money still matters. It absolutely does. Money is the tool that buys you the freedom to have those 10,000 Tuesdays in the first place, and this whole channel exists to help you get that part right. But money is the tool. These routines are what you build with it. A full toolbox and an empty life is nobody's dream. So here's your homework, and don't go trying to do all 8 at once. That's the fast track to doing 0. Pick one, the one that poked you the hardest while you were watching. Just start there tomorrow. Then drop it in the comments and tell me 2 things. Which of these 8 you're already good at, and which one you know you need to work on. I read those, and I love it when you hold yourself to it out loud. If this helped you, give it a like and subscribe if you're not already. We drop new videos every week on building wealth and building a retirement that's actually worth living. Now, go make some smart moves. I'll see you in the next one.